We have to make sure that Russia suffers enough. It is time for Europe to pay its own security, and it's time for Europe to boost up its capabilities. We would be fooling ourselves if we as Europe would think that there will be peace that would be maintained if Russia wins. I think that the question of nuclear weapons is something that Europe will have. This discussion will happen. I think it is needed.
Has Ukraine lost the war and should accept unjust peace to save sovereignty? To answer this question, I'm going on the record with Sanna Marin, the former Finnish Prime Minister, who took her country into NATO and who has been among the staunchest Kyiv supporters. We're talking just after the Munich Security Conference, where it became plain again that America is pushing for a quick end to the war, even if on Putin's terms. For Europe, this poses a dilemma: go it alone or follow the United States? As Prime Minister, Sanna Marin inspired millions around the world with her style and substance of leadership. So first, a brief introduction.
It's a very challenging job. It's something that you cannot prepare. Even though it's very challenging, even though it's very hard, I try to be myself by doing my decisions.
Social Democrat Sanna Marin on the day she took office at 34, the youngest Prime Minister in the world. At the end of 2019, nothing suggested the scale of challenges ahead. Her government, with several key positions held by women, was meant to deliver change. Instead, it managed crises. First, the pandemic.
The government has today, in cooperation with the President of Finland, established a state of emergency.
Then war waged by Russia on Ukraine.
Russia's war has permanently changed the European security order. Russia has showed that it doesn't respect international law, it doesn't respect the rules.
Her government cut dependence on Russian energy. More significantly, it ended decades of military non-alignment and brought Finland into NATO.
Finland will become a member of NATO.
Marin emerged as one of Europe's clearest voices on Russia's war on Ukraine.
The future of Ukraine is to be part of European Union and also member of NATO. We are on your side. We will support you as long as it takes.
Despite strong personal approval ratings, she lost power in the 2023 elections as her Social Democrats placed third. She resigned from active politics to spend more time with her family. But few in Finland doubt she will make a comeback sooner or later.
Prime Minister, thank you very much for finding time for us.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
So you attended the Munich Security Conference, which just finished, and what we saw there was basically the return of big power politics. So my question to you is, how should countries such as Finland or Poland react to this new reality?
Well, first of all, how we should react is with togetherness and unity. Finland is a small country, so we never will have the strength and power ourselves that we could be a real challenge to the countries that are big and powerful. So we need the unity in Europe, in European Union, because together we are strong. And we should always remember that that unity is something that Russia is constantly trying to break, and there is a reason for that. And it's also unity that has been challenged elsewhere, and there's a reason for that. And that reason is trying to make us weaker than we really are, because together we are great, strong economic power, and we can be great defense power as well.
But in practical terms, you know, let's say you're still Prime Minister, you had all these speeches in Munich, you call the Polish Prime Minister and you say, let's do what?
Now, the first thing that we should do, and that is needed for Europe, is to boost our defense capabilities. And this means, of course, reaching that 5% target that we set out together, raise our defense budget up to 5%. But maybe even more important question is how we use that money. And we see in Ukraine that the warfare has shifted a lot. It has come a long way from the place where the war started. And nowadays it is a war of drones, it is a war of new technologies, it is a war of innovation. And it really matters extremely much how we spend the money that needs to be spent on defense. So I would look at the new technologies, drone capabilities, but also capabilities concerning, for example, space technologies, or the use of AI in all the things that we do.
There is one old technology that has been talked about in Munich, basically nuclear. So we heard the German Chancellor, Mr. Merz, talking about cooperating with France on nuclear deterrence. And the Polish president, Mr. Nawrocki, also said Poland should pursue nuclear deterrence. So do you take that as a consensus, even among some of America's friends, that the US nuclear umbrella is no longer solid?
Well, first of all, I must say that in nature, in my heart, in my values, I would say that I'm a pacifist. But at the same time, I'm a realist. And I understand that to maintain peace demands strength. And it demands through deterrence. And I think that the question of nuclear weapons is something that Europe will have. This discussion will happen. I think it is needed. And I also think that in this we need to work together and act together. I wouldn't say, of course, that there isn't true deterrence now. I wouldn't say that NATO Article 5 doesn't hold. I would never say such things.
But there has to be a plan B.
But at the same time, exactly, there needs to be actions where Europe becomes stronger, more capable to handle its own backyard. And this is also the message that we have been hearing from the US for a long time, that it is time for Europe to pay its own security. And it's time for Europe to boost up its capabilities. And I think that this isn't news anymore.
Right, but you know, the Nordic countries, Sweden in particular, had some experience with nuclear programs, military. Finland has nuclear power already, but for civilian uses. Poland is the aspiring nation in the, Minister Sikorski called it the southern Nordic nation a few weeks ago. So do you see some scope for cooperation on this, on nuclear deterrence among, let's say, Nordic and Baltic and Poland?
Maybe I wouldn't jump to conclusions at this point. And maybe this is also a discussion that needs to happen on the level of leaders. I'm a former Prime Minister, not the Prime Minister anymore, so maybe I won't speculate, or maybe
you were a bold leader. You took your country into NATO, so maybe you could lead on nuclear as well.
I will leave this discussion to the capable hands of the current leaders.
But what is your personal opinion?
I will just say that this is acute, and I think this is a discussion, acute need to be discussed in Europe. And I don't think that this discussion will go anywhere. I think there will be also a decision made in the future, but I won't, of course, at this stage and point, and from my position, take any strong stance or give that kind of advice to leaders. I think they will have the discussion with a serious mind.
So now I would like to switch the subject to Ukraine. You were very outspoken saying Ukraine should capture back territory and the West should support Ukraine for as long as it takes. But now we're hearing from the Americans that they're basically eager for peace as quickly as possible, even if it means on Putin's terms. So my question to you is it time for Ukraine to fold and to accept peace, unjust peace, just to save sovereignty and be part of the EU?
Absolutely not. I think that Ukrainians have indicated and said very strongly that they are seeking long-lasting just peace. And long-lasting peace cannot be made by Putin's terms. And I don't see that Putin actually has any initiative now to even come to the peace negotiation table with serious mind. So I think we are fooling ourselves if we believe that Putin wants to negotiate peace. He doesn't want to negotiate peace, and the only way to stop this war is to support Ukraine. We have been supporting, but the support, whether it's financial support or arms support, it has come too little too late, and that's why the war is still continuing. If we really want this war to end, we have to make sure that Russia suffers enough that there will be a situation and moment where Putin is forced to that table, because I don't see that he has any real initiative or reason now to engage in peace negotiations with serious mind.
I'm asking you this question also because Finland had similar experience during the Second World War, where it won the first Winter War, but then was losing the Second Winter War. And at some point, the government then decided it's better to accept unjust peace and save sovereignty, which served Finland quite well. And the question is that, you know, if Ukraine is not supported by the US and the Europeans are divided, then, as you said, maybe it's just fiction that we in Europe can support Ukraine for much longer while Ukraine is bleeding. So maybe it's better to follow Finland's example.
I would put it this way. We would be fooling ourselves if we as Europe would think that there will be peace that would be maintained if Russia wins. That's not the case. And I will give you an example. If there is a bully in a classroom that is bullying other kids around, stealing their stuff, and the teacher and the other students would say, just take whatever you want, would we think that that bully would stop? Absolutely not. And let's say that this bully's name is Russia. So we need to learn from the mistakes that we made in the past, like 2014, when we didn't react strong enough when Russia annexed Crimea. And we shouldn't be naive with Russia's action and the mindset that Putin has. So I would say that we would be fooling ourselves if we would believe that there would be peace and a secure Europe if Russia gets what it wants. It would only continue the bullying. So the war wouldn't end. It would continue in the future.
Right. So what do you think the Europeans can do now, given that the US is not really engaged in this? Your president, Mr. Stubb, said in Munich that Europe is priority number 3 for the Americans, so definitely lower on their priority list. What should the Europeans do?
Well, I think that is right. We here in Europe many times think that Europe is the centerpiece of US discussion. That's not the case. They are focusing on domestic issues. They are focusing more and more towards East and also in their own region. So we need to understand and remember that we are not the centerpiece of every discussion and everything in different parts of the world. And we should also focus on ourselves. We have to boost up our defense capabilities, that's a given. But we also need to build technological sovereignty. We are now very dependent on US when it comes to technology. We are also dependent on China when it comes to the technology. And when we look our societies today, or especially in the future, everything will be about technology. If we don't have that serenity ourselves and those capabilities,
but Ukraine
we are vulnerable.
is bleeding now. You know, Ukraine is also exhausted by this war. We see these attacks on energy infrastructure. People are, you know, so the question is, you know, how long can the Ukraine last?
Ukraine has shown incredible resilience, but we need to support them more with financial support. Now there is new decisions concerning this, but we need to make sure that it's ongoing, what they need, that they get, but also they need more arms support as well. And they are constantly in a situation where they're pleading for the things that they already need or needed yesterday. And that is also the reason why the war prolongs. If we give too little too late, then the war will only continue. And I think we need to support more regardless what US does.
Okay, fair enough. We're running out of time, so I just wanted to ask you a personal question. As a political leader, you were an inspiration to millions of people around the world, particularly women who saw, your style of leadership as inspiring. So my question to you is, are you planning to run again for parliament in next year's election and go back into politics?
I will give you a simple answer. No, I won't run into the next
how many disappointed people will
elections
be out
in
there?
Finland.
Why not?
But I've also said never say never. You never know about the future, what it holds. I might run for office or different positions in the future, but now I'm not planning, and I won't run in the next elections in Finland. Now it's time to do something else, and something that I missed for 4 years when I served as a Prime Minister was my daughter's childhood. She is now 8 years old, and I'm really enjoying that I have now the possibility to spend more time with her. And I think that when we look at our lives, you can always seek and pursue career opportunities, but you will never get your child's childhood back. And I truly appreciate that now I have more time for her.
Prime Minister, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.